Big Ten and SEC football will never be the same. Welcome back to No Fall Weddings, Week 4 recap. Part of the Co-Working at Universe. Go ahead and please like, comment, and subscribe. I have to start with the changing landscape of college football yesterday. It came to full fruition. USC-Michigan, Tennessee-Oklahoma. Now, these announcers and analysts kept calling them conference games. I still don't believe it. Doesn't quite sit right with me. Don't get me wrong. The visual aspect of watching USC play in the big house as the shadows crept over the field at 4:30 and that volunteer orange playing on natural grass at Norman Stadium at night, they had this feeling of these two epic non-conference battles. Two programs challenging each other, not worrying about an early season loss and how it might affect their playoff standings. But no, these were Big Ten and SEC games. Depending on who you ask, I'm not really an old guy, but I had the Clint Eastwood get off my lawn feeling yesterday. It also didn't help that the Michigan USC game was on CBS and they have that theme song and here comes Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. And it's just like, no. That is meant for the SEC. I'm just so used to seeing USC and Michigan playing in the Rose Bowl. Again, it's cool that they're going to be playing in their own stadiums, but not as the Big Ten. This is going to take some getting used to. All right, let's talk about those games from yesterday. Hey, USC, welcome to big boy football. Lincoln Riley and his Southern California boys got punched right in the mouth in that first quarter. Michigan wasn't even trying to hide what they were doing. They were going to run it, and run it some more. And they jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead. But I'll give USC some credit. They definitely did some halftime adjustments. I think the number one adjustment was realizing, hey, Michigan's quarterback either can't throw or doesn't want to throw. Might be both. Michigan only had like 7 offensive yards in the third quarter. So whatever they did worked. But losing a game where the other team's quarterback only throws for 32 yards, that's inexcusable, Lincoln. For instance, Miller Moss of USC threw the ball 51 times. Do that math. Now, on the Michigan side, I'm not going to say that's just all identity, where they just want to run the ball. No. Like I said, their quarterback can't throw it, doesn't want to throw it. He is incapable right now of stepping back, reading a defense, and slinging it. Just doesn't want to do it. He has one read, and then he starts to move. That's not going to get it done this season. But this was a subtle reminder that Big Ten teams don't care about how they win. They'll win ugly. And if Michigan's going to somehow scrape together a good season, they're going to have to win like that. It's weird watching the two teams I hate the most, not just in college football, but all of sports. Oh, all right. Buffalo Bills are close. But usually you think you have this feeling of, oh, I don't want to see one team win. No, it's the opposite. Either way, I'm winning. One of them's losing. Either Michigan was going to lose at home, or USC, after all this hype, after beating LSU, gets put down a peg or two, especially Colin Cowherd, thinking that USC belonged with Texas and Ohio State and Georgia. As soon as you get the Colin Cowherd kiss of death, you know you're in trouble. Oh, whoa, so nothing like your offense laying an absolute egg on national television to a team that's known for its offense. Now, I'll give you major credit. Your defense stepped up. They were on the field for almost 36 minutes. They gave up one big 66-yard touchdown in the first quarter. But after that, they really kept Tennessee in check. Really enough to keep it a close, competitive game. Unfortunately, Jackson Arnold, which is a great quarterback name, by the way, he was horrific and eventually got benched for a true freshman. He did give him a little spark late in that game, but it was out of hand. I'm not trying to make this sound like it was closer than the score indicated, because Oklahoma got blown out of their own field. Woso, I warned you, it might be a long season in the SEC, and that was not a good start, my dude. I thought of the Wolverine meme where he's laying on his bed, reminiscing at the picture frame, and I just picture you laying on your bed with your Oklahoma hat and shirt on, and I don't know who's in the picture. It's either Lincoln Riley, or it's Baker Mayfield, or it's Kyler Murray, or it's Caleb Williams. It's somebody, but you are just like, oh, man, I miss those days. Speaking of Oklahoma and conference realignment, I noticed something yesterday about what is still technically a major conference, but it just doesn't feel like it anymore. There was a top 15 matchup between Utah and Oklahoma State. Now, maybe it's because there was other games on that I cared about more, or just the quantity of games. There's just so many games on. It's amazing. But I'm just choosing to believe that the grandeur of the Big 12 is no longer there anymore. Why? Because they lost Oklahoma and Texas. Easily their two biggest names. Can you imagine the Big 10 losing Ohio State and Michigan? Would anyone really care about that conference anymore? There will still be some big games and some Heisman quality players over the years, but without Oklahoma and Texas leading the way, it's going to be rough watching some Big 12 games, only because of the national significance. Are they ever going to challenge for a national title? Only because of their national significance. Are they ever going to challenge for a national title? Or are they just going to beat each other up, have one or maybe two teams sneak into the playoff and get blown out by an SEC or Big 10 team? So let's get to this week's play of the day. I know everyone's probably thinking it's going to be Shadur Sanders' Hail Mary attempt. But you know what? We've all seen that before. Good on them. That was an incredible play. Not sure what the defense was doing. But I'm going to stick with the catch by Ja'Cory Brooks of Louisville because it's a play by a wide receiver I've never seen before.
Play fake. Shot for Brooks. Made the catch! I still don't believe that he caught it. I still don't believe he was interfered with and had to do a full pirouette.
Now, I have some experience playing wide receiver for flag football. Same thing. The idea that you can turn around, do a 360, and still locate the ball and then score a touchdown, major props. Awesome play. Let's do some quick hits for week 4. University at Buffalo, a college that's 90 miles down the road from me, beat Northern Illinois in overtime. So you know what that means. By the transitive property, UB is now better than Notre Dame. A top 10 team that nobody's talking about this year, Missouri. Now, they struggled last week. They had to go into overtime to beat Vanderbilt. Okay, officially, get out of my top 10. I don't want to hear about you until you beat somebody worth talking about. James Madison went into North Carolina and beat them. Everybody, sit down for this. 70-50. That's a college basketball score. Thoughts and prayers to the degenerates who bet the under on that one. Ooh. Arkansas, Auburn had 3 straight plays of interceptions. SEC football, it just means more. Shout out to one of my listeners and one of my best friends. There's something nostalgic about that number 1 being next to Texas's name. I don't know what it is, because you were never number 1 during the regular season with Vince Young. It didn't come until after you won the championship. I think it's just those Colt McCoy days where you were battling Sam Bradford in Oklahoma or Michael Crabtree in Texas Tech. I never hated Texas growing up. I always rooted against them a little bit because of my buddy. But there's something cool about Texas being number 1 and actually being a legit contender again. All right, let's look at the Heisman top 3. Unfortunately, we had to move Quinn Ewers out of there. He missed another game. Arch Manning stepped in, did a pretty good job. But I'm going to go with Jackson Dart at number 3. He was referenced in one of my comments the other week. So I gave him a look. He is putting up unbelievable stats for Lane Kiffin right now, but they have not played anybody with a pulse. But I'll sneak him into the top 3 for now. Number 2, no change. Travis Hunter, the two-way player, man. 130 yards last night and had the game-sealing forced fumble in overtime. The kid is incredible. I keep trying to think of who to compare him to, because guys that played both ways were only great at one and okay at the other. This kid is phenomenal at both wide receiver and cornerback. But number 1, still Cam Ward. Ho-hum, another 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's just a leader right now. And until somebody until somebody plays a top 5 team and shows out, he's going to be my number 1, unless they lose. Let's take a look at next week's games. Got Louisville and Notre Dame, 2 top 25 teams. Notre Dame's trying to get a little payback for the loss last year. Riley Leonard of Notre Dame finally threw a passing touchdown, along with 2 other rushing touchdowns. I think we should just go triple wing. Screw it. Illinois at Penn State. I didn't see this game coming at the beginning of the year. Illinois. Brett Bielema sneaky good. Went into Nebraska on Friday night and beat the highly touted freshman quarterback. So they're sitting at 4-0. Penn State just put up a record amount of yards in a Big Ten game yesterday. So they're obviously clicking. So that's a sneaky good game. But none of them matter. We got Georgia at Alabama. Let's go. I can hate on the SEC, but when those two teams, because they don't play a regular season game every year, but when they play, all eyes will be watching. Roll Tide. Thanks for watching No Fall Weddings. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Part of the Co-Working It universe. Check out my top 5 football movies of all time. Tell me what you agree with. Tell me what I'm missing. And we'll see y'all next week. OH.